Hi, and welcome to Math Maker. My name is Mike. I teach high school equivalency, GED, and HISET classes. I've been a math teacher for a very long time, and I'm excited to give you a way to think about adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers. Okay, so the first thing I want you to understand is this is mainly for people in my class, although I would love anybody who needs help to use this. Sometimes somebody explaining something different clicks and all of a sudden things make sense, and that has happened for students in my class with other people other than me. Sometimes they do it for each other, and sometimes just somebody else explaining something works. So if I can help this click in your head, awesome. Leave me a comment. I would love to know that I made a difference. Primarily though, this is for my students who tell me that they are absent for one reason or another. They say, "Oh, Mr. Rohrbach, what do we do? What do we do, Mike? I want to make up the work." Well, guess what? Now you're going to have exactly what we did in class, and it's going to be your job to teach yourself with me by pausing the video and trying to answer the questions. So at least you know what we covered. All right. In this series, I'm going to be going over 3 different ways to add and subtract integers, which is positive and negative numbers. We're going to do the first one. This one is going to be adding and subtracting integers, method 1, which is going to be thinking about money. In order to do that, I'm going to share the screen so I don't record in the whole video where I forget to share the screen, because I actually just did that. So I'm going to put myself up here, and we're going to talk about what is a negative number first, because one of the things about adding and subtracting positive and negatives is you have to kind of have a concept of what a negative number is. So we're going to just take a look at some negative numbers. We're going to stick them on the number line where they belong. So we're going to start with, we'll just start with this one right here, number 3. Okay, well, right here is positive 3. It starts at 0 and it goes to the right, 1, 2, 3. Well, negative is the opposite of 3. So a negative 3 is going to start at 0, but then it's going to go 1, 2, and 3 to the left. And that is going to be negative 3 right there. That's a negative 3. And you'll notice it's exactly the same distance away from 0 as positive 3 is. But it has a negative sign in front. And one way to read that negative sign is as the opposite of a number. So you could call this negative 3. And that's what a lot of people will call it. They'll just say, okay, that's negative 3. But sometimes it's helpful to call it the opposite of 3. And that's going to come into play as soon as we start dealing with subtracting negative numbers. Okay, so that would be negative 3. Now, of course, in this number line, the digits get bigger as they go to the right, but going to the left, the digit is going to get bigger as you go to the left. But one thing that's interesting is the value gets smaller. So just like over here, 10, we could say 10 is greater than 7. That's a true statement. Over here, negative 3 is greater or bigger than negative 5. That is a larger number because it is to the right. So even though the numbers seem like they're going backwards, numbers are still increasing. They're still getting bigger as they go to the right. Any number on the right side of another number is going to be larger, okay? All right, we'll put the rest of the numbers in here. So negative 5, negative 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 would be there. There'd be negative 10, which is smaller than negative 5 or less than negative 5. Negative 1 will be here. Negative 1 is greater than negative 3. It's greater than negative 5. It's greater than negative 10. And negative 12 is the smallest or the least value that we have up on any number here. That is the least value. Okay, so sometimes it helps to draw out a number line when you're adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers. It's very easy to do. It doesn't have to look perfect. Moving onward. we are going to think about money. The way we're going to think about money is we're going to consider positive numbers to be money that we have, and we're going to consider negative numbers to be money that we owe somebody. All right. And then we're going to pay off our debts. And the way that I'd like you to do this, if you miss class, is I will give you the question. For example, number 1 is 8 plus negative 3. And then I want you to pause it and I want you to give yourself an answer. And then, of course, when you unpause the video, I will tell you what the right answer is. Hopefully. Hopefully I will. And then you can check your answer. And I'll also give you an explanation. So we've got 8 plus negative 3. What is the answer? Feel free to pause the video, write it down on your notebook, your notes, jot it down a piece of paper, and then unpause when you're ready. Okay, so here's the way we're thinking about this. This is a positive number, so we have $8. We're going to think about the plus sign as the word and, because that's generally what the plus sign tells us to do, is put two things together. So we have $8, and this is going to be how much we owe. So we owe $3. We borrowed money from somebody. We owe $3 for something. So if you have $8 and you owe $3 and you pay off the $3 you owe, what do you have left? Well, you got $5 left. And you might be saying, wait a minute, Mike, that's the same as 8 minus 3. And I would say, you are correct. That is the same as 8 minus 3. That plus sign there doesn't really do anything except add the word and. So if we go 8 minus 3, we get 5. If we go 8 plus negative 3, we still have 5. It's exactly the same thing. All right. Now, why that happens, we'll get into later. Let's do a little confidence builder here. 50 minus 5. You can pause if you want to, but this is just regular good old subtraction. So if you have $50 and you owe $5 and you pay it off, you will have $45 left. All right, so it does work with regular math. Now we get to something that's very interesting. And this is one that tends to throw people, but this is where we're going to use the opposite. So we have $11. Maybe we have a $10 bill and a $1 bill, but somehow we have $11. But instead of owing $2, which doesn't make any sense to owe $2, we're going to consider this as the opposite of -2. So you have an 11 and you're taking the opposite of -2. Well, what number is the opposite of -2? What is the number over here that is exactly in the same place? That's it. Well, yeah, it's +2. All right, it's +2. So if we're taking the opposite of 2, well, the opposite of 2 is -2. Then we take the opposite of -2, we're back to +2. We have basically done a 360-degree turn and we're right back to +2. Here's the rule. Anytime you go minus a negative directly next to each other, I'm not talking about a sign out here, I'm talking about two signs directly next to each other with nothing else happening in between, because this parenthesis is just there to keep the signs from running into each other. Here's what you can do. You can just go plus positive. And that is something that you can type in your notes. And here's how you would want to write it. If you have minus a negative, that is going to be equal to plus a positive. And it works all the time. Now, it also works in the English language. For example, if you really wanted to go to a party, you're asking your mom, maybe, you're like, Mom, I've got to be there. And you come out with this wonderful sentence. and you're like, Mom, I can't not go to the party. Well, what does that do? If you can't not go, if you can't not go, I cannot not go, you're doing the opposite of not going to the party, or you can't do the opposite of going to the party. Either way, you got to go to that party. Because if you cannot not go, that means you have to go. So this is the negative of the negative, or the opposite of 2, the opposite of 2, and then the opposite of 2, it's positive 2. So the rule is, don't think too hard about it, but if you have minus a negative, just change it to plus positive. It's the same thing. So now we have $11 plus positive 2. We're at $13. No problem. 11 plus 2. Okay, so from here on out, we're going to move a little faster. -1 plus 2. You owe 1. You have $2. You pay off the dollar you owe. How much money do you have left? All right, that's right. You got $1 left. -1 plus 2 equals 1. All right, let's do the next one. -4 minus -5. Now you're being tested. What's the very first thing you should do as soon as you see this minus a negative? That's right. That's right. As soon as you see minus a negative equals plus a positive. You're going to change that to plus positive. So now we owe $4 and we have $5. We pay off the 4 we owe. That's good. We have a little bit more than we owe. That's good. What do you have left? That's right. You're going to have $1 left. -4 plus 5 is going to be positive 1. Okay. 8 minus -2. Boom. What's the rule? Minus a negative is plus a positive. Minus a negative is plus a positive. 8 plus 2. You got it, 10. All of a sudden, it's not too hard. Once you do the plus positive, it makes it a lot easier, right? All right, 6 minus 9. You have $6, that is a positive number. You owe $9. You owe more than you have, which means your answer is going to be a negative number. How much, after you pay your $6, how much haven't you paid? Well, you haven't paid the difference. And the difference between 6 and 9 is 3. So 6 minus 9, if you think about the number line, it's going to go across the 0, is going to be equal to -3. Okay, now we will be using the number line a lot more in a second method, but this method we're thinking money. All right, you have $2 and you have $11. You have, drum roll please, and you got $13. All right, hopefully everybody got that one right. All right, moving over. Whoa, easy now. Let's go. Move over there. Got some with some slightly bigger numbers. Doesn't make that much of a difference. So number 9, -7, minus, parenthesis, -3. Now remember, that parenthesis is just there to keep these two signs from running into each other. Minus a negative, minus a negative, minus a negative is equal to plus a positive. So we are going to change that. That doesn't mean we change the first one though. That -7, we still owe 7. We're not changing that. It's these two that change. But now we have $3. So we owe 7, we have 3. We can't quite pay off our bill. We're going to be negative. And we can't pay the difference. What's the difference between 7 and 3? What are you going to get over here? The -7 plus +3 equals -4. All right. Let's run down the rest of these. make sure you're pausing, make sure you're trying these on your own first. -4 plus 6, hit pause, give it a shot. Okay, if you owe 4, this time you have 6, so you have more than you owe. You're gonna pay off that $4, you're gonna have $2 left. All right there it is. -15. And a -7. Now, in this case, we owe 15 and we owe 7. So that's kind of like I owe 2 people. I owe one person $15, I owe the other person $7, and we're putting those 2 debts together. How much do we owe all of our friends? If I borrowed from 2 of my friends, my friend debt right now is -15 and -7. I owe $22, 15 plus 7, but it's -$22. All right, so adding 2 negatives is the exact same thing as adding 2 positives. Add 2 positives, you get a bigger positive. Add 2 negatives, you get a bigger negative. All right, you owe more money. Confidence builder, 36 minus 4. Hit pause. Yeah. Hopefully we have not scrambled the brain to the point that you're not getting that one right. 36 minus 4 is just 36 minus 4. All right. -60 minus -10. Okay. Step 1, right here. You see minus and negative, you change it to plus positive. That's step 1. Step 2. Yeah, think about it now. You owe $60 and you have $10. What are you gonna do? You owe 60 and you have 10. Well, you pay the 10 you owe. How much do you still owe? Because you're still gonna owe money. Hit pause. All right, you're gonna owe $50 because you paid off 10 of it, but you still owe $50. So it's gonna be -50. All right, -5 minus 6. Now it almost seems weird that we don't have 2 signs in here, but it doesn't change anything. We owe $5. We owe $6. We owe $11. All right, so we owe $5 and we owe $6. What if you put a plus sign in there so we could say the word and? It's fine, doesn't change anything. Doesn't make any difference at all. We owe $5 and we owe $6, still -11. So -5 minus 6 is -11. -5 plus -6 is still -11. And -5 minus +6, it's still -11. So these sign combinations are exactly the same thing, and we'll talk about that a little bit with our second method. All right, number 15, 12 plus 13 equals, hope you're not pulling a calculator for this one. All right, 12 plus 13 equals 25. Good. Last one, -55 plus 20 is equal to what? Again, you're going to think about owing $55. You're going to think about having or paying $20. What do you have left? Hit pause, figure it out. It's $35, but is it negative or positive? Well, the negative is much bigger than the positive, so it's going to be -35. You still owe $35. Sorry. I guess you really or you cross this out, you can't go to the party. You don't have any money. All right, well, you might not have any money, which is a sad face, but at least now you know how to add and subtract some positive and negative numbers. This is method 1. I have 2 more methods that I will be doing a video on. So for my student who requested this, I hope this is useful. And if you were absent, please do everything you can. Go on Khan Academy, get some practice, make up as much work as you can, because we're all hoping for you to be successful when you go to take that GED test. Thanks a lot and have a lovely day.